Here's another video on the 2018 Kawasaki Vulcan VN1700. Ever since I've had the bike, it has ran really hot. It's got like a little dead spot, almost feels like a timing issue between 2500 and 3500 RPMs. A few other minor problems here and there. So I've done some research. I found there's a place called Ivan's Performance. It's in South Carolina. They flash your ECU, supposed to take care of the cooling problems, some power issues and some other things. So I'm going to remove the ECU today and ship it off to Ivan's, and when I get it back, we'll do another video on how to put it back in. First thing we're going to do is we're going to remove the seat. The keyhole's in the side by the rear passenger peg. I always push down on the seat a little bit, and the key turns counterclockwise. And when you push down, it kind of relieves a little bit of tension on the spring. The seat comes off easier. Once it pops up, you pull up and forward, and the rear seat comes off. Next step, we're going to remove the front seat. The front seat comes off simply by picking up off the back, pulling toward the rear of the motorcycle. The front seat's off. Now our ECU is underneath this cover right here. So we're going to need a Phillips head screwdriver to take these two off to get the battery cover off. We're going to disconnect the power for the battery. We're going to pull the ECU up out of there. So I've grabbed me a long Phillips head screwdriver. This is screw number one. I'm going to put my finger under there so I don't drop it down in the bike. If you have a magnetic screwdriver, it would help out a lot. Me personally, don't have one, so use what I have at hand. Screw one. And these wires coming up over here are key on hot, so as long as you don't have the key on, if you do touch one by accident, it shouldn't hurt anything. And screw number two. So there's my two screws out. And once I untangle it with everything I got in here, battery cover's out. And again, the ECU is located right in here. It's going to pull up out of there. We can either unplug it first or pull it out first. I'm going to pull the plugs and then pull. Before I go any further, I want to disconnect the positive terminal. This is metal here. I'm not sure why they put the positive on that side, but make sure you don't arc your battery terminal to the frame. Put my fingers behind it, that way there's no way I can bump it and arc something, pop a fuse, or just send some sparks flying. All right, so my battery's unhooked, so I can easily unplug the ECU now without doing any damage to it. There's 5 plugs on this ECU. All of them have little tabs at the top. I'll show you how to get them off of there. I may have to pull 2, slide it up out of there, get the other 3 because they're down in there pretty far. Okay, on top of the harness, I'm going to try to keep my fingers out of the way here. Position this camera. There's a little tab in the front. You squeeze in on that tab and pull up, and the harness comes off. And repeat that for the rest of them. So that's 2. Taking a little bit more force, but same thing. You pull in, and make sure you pull up on the plug and not on the wire, because you don't want to rip your wires out of the harness. 2 and 3, and like I said, you have to push a little bit harder to get that off. Once you do that, move a couple little things around, and your ECU pops out. And that's all there is to getting the ECU out of the bike. Should take you 10 minutes, 15 minutes at the most, if you've never done one before. So there you have it, ECU out of the motorcycle. Took about 10 minutes total. One last thing I didn't cover. If you look at the bottom of these connectors, each one of them have a different number of pins, so it's really almost impossible to plug them into the wrong place. The 2 bigger connections have about the same number of pins, but the lengths of the cables keep you from plugging them into the wrong place. Again, thanks for watching, and please subscribe.